Streaming now, this is the Wood TV Live Desk.
And good morning, everyone. Phil Penarski here with the Wood TV Live Desk. Hope you're all having a great start to your Thursday this weekend. It's the return of a fan favorite event down in Muskegon. It's MuskeCon down at the Van Dyke Mortgage Convention Center. And to talk a little bit more about the event is one of the organizers, Pete McCarthy. He is here on the live desk to talk a little bit more about it this morning. Pete, thank you so much for joining us today.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And Pete, I guess just starting out, probably a lot of questions from some of our viewers about what MuskeCon is. If you could just go in a little bit more in depth about the event itself.
Absolutely. It's very typical what we would consider a Comic-Con or a comic book convention. But we have toys, comics, we have cosplay groups. We have different artists, artists that have actually drawn for Marvel Comics. We have toy creators and designers, and just a plethora of vendors from homemade goods and just a lot of different things that kind of fit into nerd culture, 3D printers. It's a fun place to show up and be able to pick up a toy or a comic from your childhood that gives you kind of that nostalgia feeling, all while walking next to Darth Vader and R2-D2. And like I said, getting to meet some of the artists and the creative minds behind some of the toys and comics. It's just a great time to get together. It's very family friendly. And we nerd out all weekend. It's Saturday is the event, and it's a great time to get together with a bunch of like-minded people that enjoy all the kind of same things that we do.
Mm-hmm. And exactly how did MuskeCon come about? I mean, it's as you mentioned, it's kind of like a Comic-Con. What brought this sort of event to Muskegon of all places?
Some friends of mine in the toy collecting world, the comic collecting world, had become vendors, and we started to attend other Comic-Cons. Detroit, Grand Rapids, Lansing, Traverse City, even some out of state, Chicago, Cincinnati, and what have you. And I was looking around, and I was helping my friends set up at these events, and we were really enjoying ourselves. And I looked around, and geographically, the next best place to have a con that didn't have one was Muskegon. I'm a Whitehall native. I'm 10 minutes from Muskegon. And I thought, well, you know what? With how popular these are becoming, if I don't do this, somebody else is going to. And next thing you know, we booked an event and had our first MuskeCon back in 2017.
Mm-hmm. And you actually serve as the fire chief of the White Lake Fire Authority. Kind of talk a little bit about how that balance works of, being a toy collector, setting up MuskeCon, and also battling fires.
Yeah, so it's kind of funny. One of my mentors, I've been on the job for 20 years this last August, and one of my mentors was very specific about the things that you're going to see, the things that you're going to do, the type of stuff that firefighters deal with. You need to make sure that you have a hobby, and it was, getting out of the fire service and taking your time off and staying mentally healthy. And over the course of years, I've had a ton of hobbies. In fact, my wife could probably list every single one of them in fine detail that I've had over the years. But when I met some old friends, they became new friends again, and they were into toy collecting, and that was just something that it's a great escape from what I do every day. And it's, like I said, a great hobby with great people. And collecting toys started me down the path of reading comics, and then collecting comics, and meeting more people within this realm, starting to attend the Comic-Cons, and again be a vendor, and then start my own show. And now that's led to I'm an avid Dungeons and Dragons player, and kind of all the things that go along with that. So a lot of it, is again, it's a great hobby to have outside of my career, which is very rewarding, but of course, as you can imagine, has some difficult days. So it's one of these things where it's my side gig that I'm fortunate enough to be able to do every year.
Mm-hmm. Right, Pete. And it sounds like a blast. Obviously, with the COVID pandemic, the event had to take a little bit of a break, but it's back for the 5th year, and it was back last year, but now it's back to full scale. Kind of talk about what it means to finally bring it back to its full scale and really allow people to enjoy it to its full potential.
Absolutely. The pandemic, we held off as long as we could to cancel the event in 2020, just because like everybody else, we were hoping that things were going to die down and we were going to return to some sense of normalcy. And obviously that didn't happen. So as much as it pained us to cancel the event in 2020, it was the right thing to do. Come 2021, we still weren't in a good place. 2022, when we came back for year 4, we really wanted to do the event, but we really tried to understand that not everybody was as comfortable going back to a place where there's going to be more than 1,000 people. So we didn't know how things were going to go. So we scaled things back. We didn't have cosplay. We didn't have gaming. We didn't have any panels. It was really more of a vendor show, selling toys, selling comics at the Delta by Marriott, which is attached to the convention center we use now. We were so inundated with people that were excited about coming back to MuskeCon that very early in the planning phase for 2022, we realized that in 2023, we were going to be able to grow. So what we did was we moved next door to the Van Dyke Mortgage Convention Center, which is 3 times the size of our previous venue. We were able to bring back panels. We've brought back an entire game room. The Griffin's Rest is a local gaming store in downtown Muskegon. They've put together an entire list of a full day of events, of learning how to play different tabletop games. And also we've got some panels with comic book and toy creators, panels with some LARP people. LARP is LARP, it's live action role playing. Talking about people that are interested in that. Some people from the Star Wars Rebel groups are going to talk about how to, if you're interested in building a costume, you can learn how to do some of those things. And there's even the Swordsmanship Academy is going to teach people how to battle with swords. Now they are foam weapons. Obviously there's no real danger, but we really wanted to try to hit all of the different aspects of what people would like to see. So for us to be able to come back in 22 and go, you know what, people want this. And we were inundated. When we were turning vendors away, we were even turning vendors away this year, even though we've got so much more space. So the community came out and said, we want MuskeCon, and we were fortunately able to oblige and come back bigger and even better. We can't wait for Saturday. We're so excited to get this day going.
Mm-hmm. Right, and then just as a reminder for everybody watching, this is taking place on Saturday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pete, there are going to be a lot of people watching this right now that are very concerned about getting tickets and making sure that they don't sell out. How can people attend the MuskeCon this weekend?
Absolutely. There are no pre-sales for this event. It is all tickets at the door. Tickets are $5 a person. 12 and under are free. So like I said, just come in, get in line, and throw your money, and in the door you go.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, Pete, just kind of wrapping up here, you know, we do appreciate you taking the time out of your day to talk about MuskeCon, but the floor is yours. We're going to give it up to you. Why should people be interested in MuskeCon and also head on out there this Saturday?
You know, it's we really try to be a family-friendly event, and what we do with our vendors and what we do with our entertainment is, my goal is the average family, 2 parents and some kids, they can show up, and for $20 or less, they can get into this event, and they're gonna see something that they all like. If the kids are into action figures, dad's into reading comics, mom's into cool handmade goods, whatever the case may be, there really is a little something for everybody. And so we just wanted to create a place where people could come relatively inexpensively and just see what local vendors have for sale. Some of the artists that the art that they create, and some of, like I said, some of the homemade goods. We really want people to walk down the aisle, and we want them to see their favorite G.I. Joe that they had back in 1988, and we want them to get that feeling of nostalgia. I remember begging my mom to buy that for me in the Meyer Thrifty Acre toy aisle, and I ultimately remember my dog chewing it up or my brother stealing it or whatever the case may be. But it's such an awesome feeling when these toys can kind of connect you back to your childhood, and that's the kind of stuff that we want to do. It really is just a huge group of like-minded people that enjoy these things, just celebrating the day together. So like I said, it's $5 to get in, 12 and under are free. A little bit of something for everybody. The panels are available. You can learn. Maybe you've always been interested in what it takes to write a comic. You can listen to Matt Rodriguez talk about the 3 that he's created. Maybe you're an artist and you want to learn more about should I stay on paper or should I be going digital? How do you draw art for a comic? You can listen to Scott Rosema, who's actually drawn for Marvel and DC, talk about that. Maybe you've always wanted to create your own toy line. You can listen to Matt Rodriguez from the Armies of Ashmore toy line that's just now launching on Kickstarter. Or you can talk to 2 of the members of the 4 Horsemen Toy Studios who have been creating their own toy lines called Mythic Legions for the last 5 or 6 years, but for the last 20 years have been responsible for sculpting and designing just figures from all different lines, from Hasbro and Mattel, back to He-Man and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. There are so many toys that we growing up had our hands on that we had no idea were designed by these people that are going to be at the show that you can meet and you can talk to. So like I said, hopefully it's an inexpensive day that people find a lot of cool things that they like and can maybe learn something more about toys and comics if they so choose.
Absolutely, Pete. Well, that all sounds incredible. I do want to remind everybody watching that, of course, MuskeCon is being held this Saturday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Van Dyke Mortgage Convention Center in Muskegon. Everything you need to know can be found right now over on our website, woodtv.com. We've got all of the information there as well. Pete, really do appreciate you stopping by the live desk. Very much looking forward to the event this weekend.
Awesome. And Phil, thanks again for having me. I appreciate it. And to everybody watching who sees this, come on out. We would absolutely love to have you. In this world, in this nerd culture, it is always the more the merrier. So come out and have a good time, and we hope to see as many people as we can there on Saturday.
Right, absolutely. And I also want to thank everybody else for watching, for tuning in to this latest edition of the Wood TV Live Desk. I'm Phil Penarski, and we hope you have a great rest of your day.